Niners, Jerry Rice last night posted a picture of Brandon Aiyuk on his Instagram page and said, I guess we will all find out tomorrow, goats. Will he stay or leave? And he tagged Brandon Aiyuk.
Oh,
what that tells me is Jed York stepped up and called the GOAT, Jerry Rice, and said, Jerry, I need you. I need you in the worst way. We have this first-round pick who wants to get paid. It is the best first-round pick at the wide receiver position we've had since you were drafted, 16 overall, come out of Mississippi Valley State in the mid-'80s. We need you to seal the deal. Number 11 has a chance to be an all-time Niner. An all-time Niner. All right? He's arguably, outside of, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, T.O., I already think Aiyuk's had a more productive career as a 49er than Michael Crabtree.
Debo?
Oh, Debo's right. But Debo had the one great year, and he got paid.
I mean, his numbers...
Debo's been good.
Even for a down year last year, his numbers are pretty freaking good.
But he had the one great year, and he got paid, and all of a sudden we're questioning whether Aiyuk should get paid after one great year.
His rookie year was special, too.
His rookie year was really good. Okay, so Debo. I forgot about Debo. He was a second rounder. I love Debo.
We classify him as a weapon, though. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Debo's great. Debo's great. I wanted Debo over DK, and I'm thankful that they drafted Debo. But the GOAT called Brett. He had to meet with Brandon Aiyuk. Say, sit down, kid. Come on. You're playing for the 49ers. All right? Playing for the San Francisco 49ers. These 11 jerseys are selling like hotcakes. You don't really want to go to Pittsburgh, do you? You don't want to play in the AFC North. Stay on the West Coast, kid. Stay on the West Coast, you West Coast kid. You know what I mean? He posted that picture last night, and I thought, what does Jerry know that we don't know? Jerry just doesn't post that.
Well, I think Jerry's a great example of someone. Now, again, he wanted both, the money and the legacy, because I think we've forgotten that Jerry,
he held out one time.
Jerry wanted to get paid, but the times
he deserved it.
The times were very different. The money isn't what it is today. It's not even close. But this is the way I believe, and I know everybody wants to get every last dollar, and I get all that. I believe me, I acknowledge and I understand that not everyone is wired the same. In fact, I appreciate that not everyone is wired the same. That being said, if I'm Brandon Aiyuk, you do have to look down the road a little on this, and just hear me out on. Like, let's say you really want to go to the Steelers. All right, their quarterback situation, we can all acknowledge today is way more unsettled than the 49er quarterback situation. We can also acknowledge their offense has been spotty over the last 5 or 6 years in terms of effectiveness and getting guys paid the last 5 years. Prior to that, they did a great job of guys bouncing around. Aiyuk can't just be looking at this contract he's looking at now, because if things go well for him with San Francisco in 2 years, 3 years, he's renegotiating and he'll be on his third contract. Whereas in Pittsburgh, in 2 or 3 years, he might be one of their cap casualties. That has to weigh on him. Now, I'm not saying that Pittsburgh is an also-ran. They're not. They're not a team that's bottom of the barrel, but they're in that middle ground. And all those teams in the middle ground, coordinators are coming and going. We don't know what's going on with their head coach, quarterback. If I told you today Pittsburgh is in the market for a quarterback at year's end, would you be that surprised?
Nobody's going to be surprised about that.
Nobody would a wide receiver who's reliant so much on offensive coordinator, head coach, and quarterback bank all of his eggs into that franchise over the Niners? To me, that's penny wise, pound foolish.
Maybe it's Mike Tomlin. Maybe there's a real disconnect between Kyle Shanahan and Brandon Aiyuk, and people are reporting it. Ryan Hensley. Ryan Hensley on YouTube is a content creator for the 49ers. Was telling me weeks ago that there's a shouting match between Shanahan and Aiyuk. Now, it hasn't been confirmed, but now all of a sudden you start getting tea leaves from the Matt Mayokos of the world and everybody else saying, yeah, there's been disagreements between Shanahan and Aiyuk. So something's there. I think we haven't dove into, and I don't want to do that today. I kind of want to talk about Brock Purdy, and we'll do that a little bit later. But there's a disconnect between head coach and wide receiver. Something's off there between Shanahan and Aiyuk. I don't know what it is. But maybe he just sees Mike Tomlin saying, I'd rather go play for him than Kyle Shanahan. I think that's what it has to be. Because he can't, there's no way in the world he can look at the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh and say, that's better than what I have out here in San Francisco with Brock Purdy. He's admitted that. And then when I just look at what he can do as a 49er, when you ball out as a 49er, your legacy gets enhanced, okay? This guy right now is 16th all-time in receiving yards for the 49ers. Obviously, Jerry Rice is number 1, and T.O.'s number 2. Dwight Clark's number 3, G. Washington 4, George Kittle 5. But do you understand that Brandon Aiyuk has a chance to enter the top 10 in all-time receiving yards for the 49ers this year if he goes for, say, over 1,100 yards?
Would that be like 4,500 yards?
Yeah, it'd be about 5,000 yards.
What did Vernon Davis end up with?
5,640.
Okay.
You know, Freddie Solomon right there, 10th place, 4,873. Now, crazy enough, I love Debo, and we get that he gets used as a running back a lot. But Debo, in one extra year, has 4,122 receiving yards. Brandon Aiyuk's already at 3,931.
I think the differentiator for me between the two of them, people are going to go rush yards. I'm just go touchdowns. I feel Debo Samuel in terms of red zone, like the way the Niners use Debo is just different.
Well, just not only just red zone, but just the way he could turn a 5-yard crosser into a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
That's the difference there. But Ayuk's no slouch. I'm looking at all the highlights of Brandon Aiyuk, and he's made some downfield plays. He's just a consistent X-receiver, which you need.
He's a really good player. Regarding the tension between Kyle and Aiyuk, not knowing specifics or whatever, I don't put a lot of stock into that. And the reason why I don't put a lot of stock into this, I don't think any head coach is kumbaya with every player at all times. I think that there's constant friction across the board, and more at the wide receiver position on a team like this than any other, because you have so many mouths to feed. That's number one. And then number two, like the wide receiver position, everything can be schemed up perfectly and we just airmail you. You could be wide open and the quarterback go to someone else. You could slip in your route, or a guy makes a great play. Like everything is becoming on just so much other stuff that you don't have control of. I think by nature, that position creates a disgruntled player, maybe more than other positions.
You know, I hear that. But it doesn't feel like Shanahan's never really had any big beef with Deebo Samuel. That's his guy. I mean, they've hung out in Cabo together in the offseason multiple times.
During games, Deebo has said to him, like even in the NFC Championship game, like, it's go time now, Kyle.
Yeah.
Give me the ball.
Yeah, well,
he said that against Detroit. It's go time now,
and
Kyle.
You know what Kyle said? Yeah, I got you. I just call that creative tension. That's just being in the bunker. But you got to remember, Aiyuk was in a real-life doghouse with Shanahan. He was in the doghouse. There's no doubt about it. He was in the doghouse. I don't think Aiyuk has forgotten about that. And I don't think he gets enough credit. Now, this whole offseason is driving me crazy with Aiyuk and the front office. They're both culpable of everything. I don't like the unfollowing on Instagram. I don't like the throat slashing that Deebo was doing in the club. I don't like the dancing on TikTok every time a wide receiver gets paid. I'm old, dude. I'm an OG. Yeah. All right, I'm 41 years old as you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and AC1 San Francisco and Odyssey Sports Station, always live on the free Odyssey app.
However, I'm an OG. I'm 41 years old.
I am an OG. You know,